Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Good morning. We've made it. It is Friday. It is a Friday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We'll have JC, we'll have Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel get his thoughts on the Mighty Gators. If you missed it last night, I didn't see any of it because I don't get Amazon Prime, but the Eagles, I think I won that wager, JC. The Eagles beat the Redskins in a Thursday night battle in Philly. And then your college game was a shootout. ECU with their interim coach continue. I think he's undefeated. I think he's 3 or 4-0. They beat Tulsa 38-31.
East Carolina.
Yeah. JC, before we get started here,
go ahead.
I was looking through Twitter, and this is probably really dumb, but I'm being dead ass honest.
Sure.
Who is this Jake Paul guy that's supposed to fight Mike Tyson?
So he's a big internet guy. He's a big social media athlete, boxer, whatever you want to call him. Huge dude. I mean, he's a very big guy. And I don't know what his boxing skills are, frankly, because I don't follow that sport. But the fact that somebody who is 30 years younger is going to fight a 58-year-old man who thinks he's 28 is it's an absurd event. Yeah, I don't even know how you bet on something like that. I mean, that's just a crazy money grab, if you ask me. And so last night Tyson and he go in front of the media there for the weigh-in, right? And he slaps him, and then he jumps back into his entourage, to protect himself. It's just, this is the kind of stuff kids love. I mean, they all throw money at this, and it's a pay-per-view deal. It's a money grab, QB. But let me tell you,
I didn't know. I've never heard of the guy, so I didn't know who he was.
Well, let me tell you what the big tragedy is for last night. Since you didn't watch the game, Dan Quinn is, history always repeats itself. Bad decisions lead to bad results, and he had a chance last night in the fourth quarter, down 2 points, 12-10. His team is struggling against Philadelphia. They're on the road. It's 4th down and 4. On Philly's 25, maybe?
He went for it?
He went for it. He didn't try a field goal to put him up a point. It's 7 or no, I don't know. There wasn't much time left. It was in the fourth quarter. I'll just say that. And he went for it. Jaden Daniels got tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Immediately, 4 plays later, the Eagles are in the end zone, and they scored 2 more times after that. And, it's like these coaches are struck with this condition called I have to go for it itis because of analytics. And all analytics is an excuse for bad decisions. And when you can take the lead and your team's playing its ass off and you're at Philly and the fans are getting ornery, you take the lead, Dan. And he did the same thing in the Super Bowl when the Falcons had the Patriots dead to rights, and he didn't kick a field goal to make it a 2-score game. And then we all know what happened after that. And it's just ridiculous, these coaches. And I think the players deserve better with these decision-making, analytic decisions. It makes me sick. And it's just, you know what's going to happen. You knew the Eagles were going to hold them, and then you knew the Eagles were going to score. It's how many times have we seen this movie, QB? But anyway.
I'm getting texts here. People are posting that it's on. It's not pay-per-view. It's free on Netflix. Well, I don't have Netflix,
whatever.
and
Netflix.
I'd rather go mow JC's yard.
It's not free. Netflix is not free. You pay for it, so it is pay-per-view. So
I don't have Netflix. I'm not going to waste my time on that. Wolf Gator says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum. Great to see Rex coming back as Mr. 2-Bits. He's one of the underrated QBs here. I don't know if he's underrated. I think he's the best quarterback I've ever seen at Florida, quite honestly.
I thought you said Danny was the best quarterback you'd ever seen.
No, everybody asked me between Danny and Tebow.
Tebow? Well,
no, they asked me who do I think's the better college quarterback, Danny or Tebow, and I go Danny. But I think Rex was the best quarterback Spurrier had.
But Danny won. And
Rex won a lot too, JC.
He did. Yeah.
And Rex was about a 2-point conversion away from winning the Heisman Trophy and going to play for the national title.
Jeez. Okay. I don't remember that, but yeah.
It was the Tennessee game that got was it a hurricane or was it 9/11?
Oh, it was a hurricane, and was that the
I think
game
it was
that?
9/11, wasn't it?
Oh, okay, maybe
Well, anyway, that we had to play it the last game of the year.
in December.
It was,
Was
I
that when
don't remember when it was.
Tennessee?
People will tell us, but the
Travis
bottom
Henry,
line
was
is
it Travis
Coach
Henry?
Spurrier would tell you that team that did not get the 2-point conversion against Tennessee might have been his best team he had.
Oh, okay.
And I
All
agree
right.
with you.
Okay. All right. Well, look, okay, whatever it is, he was a good one for sure. But I do remember you telling me Danny was the guy.
Well,
But
Danny was damn good too.
yes, he was. He was okay. Well, I
Yeah,
think
he was
did he get one of
decent.
those? Did he get one of those trophies up in New York
Yeah,
City?
well, I take full responsibility for Danny Werfel
Oh, and
because
then
I was
that.
his host on his recruiting visit.
Oh
It was
man.
9/11, Buck said. Yeah, I thought it was.
Okay. Thank you,
All right,
Buck.
Josh in Mississippi on the Titan MR text line says, Gentlemen, my wife and 3 kids and I hit the road this morning
All
from the
right.
Mississippi Gulf Coast headed towards Gainesville for the game this weekend. This
All
will be
right,
my
Josh.
wife and daughter's first time in the swamp for a game. Can't
Oh
wait.
man, great
Well,
job, Josh.
should have great weather.
Great job.
Hopefully it's a good team.
Josh, it's 65 degrees out right now. Tomorrow it's going to be about a high of 75, maybe. And it's going to be fantastic. 3:30 game, which is the perfect time for a football game, if you ask me. And you're going to experience the whole thing. And I think the crowd, I think there's going to be a really good crowd tomorrow. I'm really kind of
Well, it's not sold out like all the other ones have been.
It's not sold out.
Mm-mm.
Maybe the LSU fans just said to hell with it. We're not going.
It's going to be interesting to see because they usually travel.
They
They
travel
travel no
well.
matter what. I think they'll still be here.
Yeah, they'll be here.
but-
I'm playing golf with 2 LSU guys today.
I know you are. I know you are.
But they do travel better than any fan base that I know of in college football.
In any sport. Yeah.
And they do love their team, but man, they have taken 2 ass kickings in successive weeks going into this one. They're reeling too, folks. They're not on a roll at all. So
they're 9-3, JC. I mean, 6-3.
what? They're 6-3. But
Yeah.
the last 2 weeks,
We take 6-3 right now.
Yeah, Florida would, yes.
Yeah. Electronics World, integration and design specialist for smart home automation and entertainment, affordable local installation service and support. Go check them out, electronicsworld.net. We got JC here on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp, and then we're going to have Edgar Thompson. JC, let's do this. I want to go ahead and get in. I mean, there ain't a whole lot to talk about. Yeah. DJ's going to try to play. Elijah Badger's back. Would you like my keys to the game, JC, in case you don't wear your Walkman to the game?
Yes. I must hear this, please.
Okay, my keys to the game are what they pretty much the same that they've been since the UCF game.
Okay.
We need at least 3 turnovers defensively.
Yes. Good luck with that.
We have to get after the quarterback.
Yeah.
And we have to protect our quarterback. That's all that matters in football.
Well, yeah, and 2 of those 3 keys require the defense to
right. And that defense still scares the hell out of me.
Well, and they're all banged. Let's be fair. I mean, the 2 corners.
They scared me when we were healthy. I'm in the minority there, and I will stay in the minority, but nobody's going to change my mind. And here's why this game is big, JC. We have not beaten a team with a winning record.
Right. Well, yeah.
We have a chance.
Yeah.
We have a chance.
This is one of those situations where with 3 games left, you must win 2 of them because they have to go to a bowl game. They have to get to 6 wins, man. You can't go back-to-back years without postseason. It's just not good. I mean, that's going to be so easy to recruit against. And I just don't know if that's important or not, because I know that these kids can make a decision like this and just jump from one place to another overnight. Look at the Boston College quarterback.
Yeah.
He gets benched. Okay, that's a normal thing that happens.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's real life. It's real life, buddy.
Yeah, and now he's going to enter the transfer portal after Bill O'Brien has run this guy ragged throughout the entire season. He plays like crap. He gets benched. And instead of trying to get better and learn from the experience, he's going to take his helmet and his ball and go home. And he's going to transfer. Castellanos, his name.
Yeah,
guys.
he transferred from UCF because he wasn't playing there. Look, that's the way of the world. It's sports are different. You can talk to any high school coach, all the nonsense they have to put up with in today's world because kids are different. They're just different. They feel entitled.
Yeah.
They want participation trophies. And if things aren't going their way, they can't handle adversity. they try to move on somewhere else. So there you have it.
Incredible.
Okay, so JC, let's get to our Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. Go check them out at peachlanddental.com. It's the Peachland Dental, JC and the QB weekend picks. Where are we staying? I know, well, the stats aren't legit because I missed a week or so.
I mean, you QB. I mean, you went 4-3 last week. I went 3-4, and on the year, that 4-3 record gets you at 37-24. Oh no, that's Seth. Excuse me. Oh wait a minute. Is that
shady bookkeeping?
No, shady bookkeeping. I'll get to it, but don't worry. I think you and I are close.
Okay.
You and I are close. When you look at my notes, I write like a fifth grader. Okay, I've got the worst handwriting. You, on the other hand, have probably the greatest handwriting I've ever seen because your hands are so still, and mine are all over the place.
Hands of a surgeon, JC. Hands of a surgeon.
Yeah. And I have the hands of a criminal. But anyway, all right. Tonight we're gonna, this is football, and we're in a world today where we've got schools like SMU and Boise State and Ole Miss and teams like this that are in playoff discussions. It's a crazy world. The playoff has done this, and so we're also dealing with injuries and teams that are hampered. And Utah is one of those teams, and they had a game last week where they clearly got ripped off. And I am, on the other hand, am now in agreement with the athletic director that made himself look like an ass. I think he's right. He got screwed. They got screwed. He may have not had to say what he had to say publicly, but he was right. It was a crime what happened to his team against BYU. But beside the fact, a call was made 30 yards away from a play that had nothing to do with the play, and it wasn't even the call that was called. The violation wasn't even what was wrong. It was just a phantom call that changed the outcome of the game, and that's wrong. So anyway, Utah plays, and they got to keep BYU undefeated. I get it. Utah at Colorado. See, that's the kind of thing that makes you think that this is wrong. I mean, you've got these playoffs now, and this team is undefeated in BYU, and they were beaten last week, but they weren't. So anyway, Utah's going to try to pick their pants up from the ground and play Colorado, who's really turned it on at 6-3 or 7-2, whatever they are, and they have a chance to win the Big 12, and they're 11-point favorites at home against the Utes coming from.
Well, Utah's got the best defense in that league. I think they're on their third quarterback, quite honestly.
Yeah, they are.
They struggle to score.
11 points, QB.
I'm taking the Utes because of their defense.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna stay with the hot team. I think the Buffs are on a mission right now, and listen. At the beginning of the year, I thought they were one of the worst teams I've ever seen. After that,
well, I will say this:
and now they're one of the
better. Not very good.
The what?
The Big 12 is not very good.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably get one team. They'll get one.
They're only going to get one. Whoever wins the conference.
Okay. Clemson, played their way out of the ACC championship game, if you ask me, by losing to Louisville badly. But they're playing at Pitt, who's suffered here lately because Eli Holstein, their quarterback, has not been available and has not played well when he was available in the last game he played. And they're catching 11.5. I don't know if Eli's playing or not. Again, it's another one of these games where the injury bug has come into play.
He played last week.
Well, he didn't. He may have, but he wasn't 100% at all. And they are 11.5 point underdogs at home. Now, that probably wouldn't be the case if everything was on the up and up. So Clemson, I think this is one of those games where they probably go in there and win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I like Clemson. Clemson. I think they have a better team, better roster.
Tulane, a team I really do like. And again, they're another team that got screwed by the officiating on a phantom offensive pass interference call against Kansas State when they were going to win the game. But they only have a loss, and they're playing at Navy, who's got 2 losses. But one last week in a nice game on the road, and they're at home getting 7. Who do you like in this one? Tulane and Navy. Tulane's still alive, believe it or not, for that group of 5 spot. Currently,
I like Tulane.
I do too. I think Tulane is a athletic, quiet team that just does its business and moves on. It's a great program. Willie Fritz not there anymore, but he really laid a great foundation for the next coach, and they are picking up where he left them off. So he did not leave the cupboard bare. Then we go to the SEC, and here's another team that's been devastated by an injury to their best player, and that's Missouri, who's got a nasty defense, playing a South Carolina team who has got a nasty front seven and a defense that is really woken up, and their quarterback has responded, and they're laying 13.5. When was the last time you ever saw South Carolina lay 13.5 points? Everybody loves South Carolina right now. I even went and got a hat. It's in the bedroom. I got a Carolina hat. You want me to wear that today, QB? Carolina hat, laying 13. You don't care what I want. Laying 13.5 to Missouri at home there. Carolina.
I like the Gamecocks because now Drew Lock was playing to be a different story. But
well, that would also be Brady Cook because Drew Lock's with the Broncos, but Brady Cook's pretty good too. He's pretty good.
Yeah, that guy as well.
Gary Danielson.
Miami hell did I think of Drew Lock? He ain't been there in 10 years.
That's from the
Drew Pine stinks. And I think South Carolina will roll them.
I gotta agree with you, man. South Carolina is on a. That team should beat LSU. We know that they could be there, sitting there with one loss. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have 3 losses right now.
How about in the conference?
Well, who else did they? I don't know who all they've lost to, but they have 3 losses.
All right, I got to find. I beg your pardon. Okay, Zach, rolling in here with some good information. They lost to Alabama, a game they almost won. And then they lost. They did get their balls kicked in by Ole Miss. Did I just say that? Texas at Arkansas, +12. Texas at Arkansas.
It seems like Arkansas played, obviously they beat Tennessee, but everybody else that's rolled in there, Ole Miss, had a chance to upset them. They got blown out. I'm going to say Arkansas coming off a bye keeps it close, but Texas wins.
QB, who is Texas beating? Name a good team. Name a good team.
A good team?
Yeah, name a good team.
They have not beaten a good team, I don't believe.
They did beat Vandy by 3. Texas has not beaten anybody. Now, we thought at the time Michigan was going to be a competitive team. Michigan's an average team. They beat Oklahoma. We all know about Oklahoma. They were absolutely pancaked by Georgia. They beat the mighty Gators, who had no players. They beat Mississippi State by 23, and they've beaten Colorado State, San Antonio, and Monroe. Texas hasn't beaten anybody, and they're going to play a much more physical team. I think I'm going to take the points, even though I'm probably going to lose this bet, but I'm going to take the 12 with Arkansas. I think they're going to rebound from that awful, awful performance they had against Ole Miss. And you said who again? I'm sorry.
I like the Hogs.
Yeah. Okay, we both take the 12. I mean, they looked awful against Ole Miss, QB. They looked terrible. All right, Tennessee at Georgia. Is Nico Iamaleava going to be available? It's a questionable thing. Once again, with the concussion symptoms, I think he's going to play. And here's what Tennessee fans are scared of. You tell me if this is right or wrong. People are saying if Tennessee loses this game, they will then have 2 conference losses. They only have 1 right now. And then that would pretty much kick them out of the running for the SEC championship game. I mean, is this right? QB?
Yeah, I think so, because with the tiebreakers and stuff, Georgia's only 2 losses are at Ole Miss
and Alabama.
Yeah. I don't know all the tiebreakers or whatever, but I think Georgia's going to win the game. I think Kirby's going to get their attention. Georgia is not the team that they've been. I'm not impressed with Tennessee's offense in the passing game. The running back's very good, Dylan Sampson, but I think Georgia will make them throw the football. I like the Dogs at home.
You like the Dogs laying 9.5. All right.
I do.
Now, QB defense travels, right? You realize this. And Tennessee is really strong on the defensive side. So you don't think it's going to be inside of 10 points, huh?
I don't.
Okay. I'm going to take
I'm not one that thinks Tennessee's that good.
You don't think they're good on defense?
I think they're okay. Hell, we went up and down the damn field on them.
Oh. Well, okay. Well,
we did.
Yeah. Should have beat them.
Just couldn't score.
Should have beat them. Alabama should have beat them too.
Okay, we got a text here in the while you're thinking about it. We got a text from Georgia Gator, by the way.
Georgia
Gator. Do the players who decided to sit out for the remainder of the year still get to practice and use football facilities? If yes, that's rewarded players for peeing on their teammates. I think it depends on the school. I do know. I remember talking to the UCF play-by-play guy, Mark Daniels, when they played here. They had a bunch of guys leading up to our game opt out or whatever, red shirt, go in the portal. And I asked him this question. He said, no, Gus immediately cut them off, took their password,
Wow.
whatever it is to get into the building, which that's the case. I mean,
Yeah.
you should not be allowed to work out. You should not be allowed to eat for
No,
free.
if you don't, yeah.
You're on your own now. So
Yeah,
I believe every school does that, Georgia Gator.
Good question, Georgia Gator. All right, here's another team I asked, who have they played? Notre Dame's at home laying 23.5 to Virginia. I don't know what Virginia is or isn't. I don't think they're that good, but I don't think they're that bad either. But they're getting 23.5 against Notre Dame. My question to you, QB, is who has Notre Dame beaten?
A&M, that's it.
That's it. But
I will take the
months
Virginia Cavaliers to keep this game close.
All right, I'm going to go with you there with the 23.5. I went ahead and changed for Georgia.
John says Georgia is missing ETN this weekend. That is true, but I think our running backs have run for more yards than he has this year. They're not missing anything there. They got plenty of running backs.
I think you might want to look at the under in that game, and the reason for that is it's 48 points. I'm not so sure that's going to happen because I think Tennessee again is going to keep the game ugly. They're going to keep the score down, and they are going to run the football against the Georgia Bulldogs. That's what's going to happen. I'm now switching my pick from Georgia back to Tennessee. All right, QB, LSU and Florida. I know you don't pick this game; you call it. You're a businessman on Saturdays nowadays. You work for the University of Florida, and it's great. And it's great to be a Florida Gator. And they're only getting 3.5 with a defense that has absolutely nobody healthy. I don't know how this line comes out. I think it's just an indictment on what LSU has done lately in the last 2 weeks, and that Garrett Nussmeier has become a turnover machine. And if Jason Marshall Jr. and Devin Moore and the Florida Gator defense was really healthy, I'd love the Gators in this spot.
Well, the line wouldn't be there probably.
Yeah, well, it's only 3.5. It's 3.5. I mean,
well, they're probably factoring in, is LSU, how are they going to come out of the tunnel, get off the bus? Are they going to have any, they're out.
Still alive.
They're not technically out of the SEC
Right, they're
race.
still alive. They're still alive.
But,
and are they going to play 3 bad games in a row on offense? I don't know how Florida's going to stop this team if they get going with the quarterback and the wide receivers. I'm just being honest, folks. I hate it. Listen, I'm going to wear my Gator stuff tomorrow. But if I'm a completely unbiased individual here and I'm totally neutral and I just look at this game on the board and I'm sitting out there in Reno, Nevada, there is no way I'm taking Florida with 3 points. There's just no way. There's no way. I'm just being honest. I hate it, but that's what we do here. We try to be honest. All right, let's go to the NFL real quick. QB, Baltimore at Pittsburgh. The Steelers and the Ravens. Now, the Steelers own the Ravens. They own Lamar Jackson. They have a patent on the Baltimore Ravens, but they are an underdog in this game. I love the Steelers getting 3. I think Russell Wilson's made a difference. And TJ Watt, if there's anyone better than TJ Watt, his name might be Nick Bosa, his name might be Myles Garrett, and his name might be Aiden Hutchinson. Other than that, they are all the same player to me, and he raises hell on the defensive edge. I love the fact they're going to get Lamar running around, which makes him very tough to deal with, but I think that's what they want to do. And I'm taking the Steelers plus the 3 in Pittsburgh.
I will take the Baltimore Ravens.
With their lousy defense. Okay. Cincinnati, this is it for them. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but they have to win out. They're playing the Chargers, QB. The Chargers are an ugly team that is physical, that's winning games, that's going to make the playoffs if they keep going the way they're going. Harbaugh makes this a Big Ten team. It is the Michigan Wolverines all over again in the NFL. They are laying 1.5. I think they're going to slaughter the Bengals, who I think have just folded it up.
Well, I'm going to go opposite. The game is in Cincinnati, correct?
No, it's in LA, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
Why are they only a 1.5 point favorite?
That's right, because they play very low-scoring, close games. But
I will take the Bengals.
Okay, I got the Chargers. And then the game of the week in the NFL, if it's not Baltimore, Pittsburgh, it has to be Kansas City and Buffalo.
Ooh.
The Bills laying 2. Josh Allen. The defense, listen, if this guy, Frank Milano, I think's his name, if he plays and the Bills get healthy on defense, that is a team that can play with the Chiefs and beat the Chiefs. And that's going to be a game in Kansas City in the playoffs. But this game is in Orchard Park, Western New York. Buffalo is laying 2. And that, think about this, QB. You've been to Buffalo. You know all about it.
I lived there for 2 years.
That's right. So think about a 4:35 kickoff and all of the tables that are going to be destroyed and everything that's going to go on in the parking lots pregame and the absolute lather that these people put themselves through. I think Kansas City fans and Buffalo fans are very similar in that the Buffalo fans are a little wackier, but when you get into the stadium, it's a college football atmosphere. Buffalo and Kansas City, this is great. I respect the Chiefs more than as much as anybody, but I wish nothing but ill will on the Chiefs. Give me the Bills, laying the 2, screw the Chiefs. I used to like the Chiefs, but I'm kind of over the Chiefs. So give me the Bills, Buffalo laying the 2. I think that is a take it to the bank, pay your mortgage, pay your lawn guy, pay your roofer, pay your car loan off, take the Bills and use the Hard Rock and make yourself.
Okay, since JC is giving you some blood bank guarantee or whatever they're called, as much as I love Josh Allen and the Bills,
you're taking Mahomes.
I'm just going to go against you, JC, just because
you want to see me homeless.
You just ruined all these people's lives.
What if all these people just had a Merry Christmas because of me?
They could.
Damn right.
When's the last time Pat Mahomes was an underdog?
Yeah, and this guy is he's a machine, and they are a team that right now can do no wrong, but I don't think this lasts forever in the NFL. You know as well as anybody, the NFL means not for long.
With him and Andy Reid, it will.
Well, okay, but Buffalo with Josh Allen, they just got to find some guys.
You know, it's a shame. It's a shame we don't realign the NFL teams to get the Buffalo Bills or either put the Chiefs in the NFC so we could see this matchup in the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, the Niners have played tough against the Chiefs, but they can't beat the Chiefs. So, yeah.
Right. But
Hey, but the Detroit Lions just might.
They could for sure. JC, Sunshine Holiday Lights will put up your holidays, will light up your holidays. Give them a call at 352-665-1320 for all your holiday decorating needs. Specializing in outdoor light hangings, Sunshine Holiday Lights. Are you going to put lights around your house, JC?
No, but the Hard Rock
We'll call Sunshine Holiday Lights. They'll do it for you.
I might do that because then I'd have a very merry looking house on my street. Core Power, 42 grams of protein right now as I get ready for my big match today down in Adena with a former Gator, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again. And QB, you talk about Sunshine Lighting can light up your holidays, but so can that Hard Rock sports betting app, because if you pick the right way, you can buy everybody Christmas presents instead of just eating, pork and beans for Christmas. So I think it's very important that you get on that app. I'm just giving you 8 winners. So rewind the tape here and
Wolf Gator.
You look very nervous about that. Go ahead.
Well, Brian first says, Shane, are you emptied by UF? I have heard people say this means you can't be objective, but I think that's wrong. You can call it. Oh, you mean am I employed? I'm not employed by UF.
Did I say that?
Yeah, I'm employed by the
media
properties. The media.
Well, I didn't mean you work for Florida, but you are on the Gator Radio Network. Just don't take it literal.
I kind of call it as I see it. Real quick, Wolf Gator wants to say, JC, are you playing money games with your LSU friends today? Are you playing Hawkstone or Bostic? Great day to play. He is going to Adena Golf Club.
Yeah, about 20 miles south.
Yeah, about 20 miles south. It's beautiful.
So good.
Bostic has a million tournaments today, and Hawkstone is like putting on your shag carpet. So they're going to take their game down to a challenging golf course.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I do love playing Adena. I played a bunch of times. These LSU guys, I haven't met them yet, but they were on the phone with me last night, and I told the guy who I'm playing with today, he used to play for Florida, and I said, Mike, I'm really thrilled at how excited you are, to come in here and party for the tailgating, to watch 2 teams that are just struggling right now. And the LSU fans started hooping and hollering back there, and I asked them, I said, so last week, Happy Valley was really empty, and they laughed. And then, this was the Alabama coming out of me. And I'm looking forward to giving them a little ribbon today. But Florida and LSU, this is a rivalry that's been one-sided in the last, 5 years, QB?
We've lost 5 in a row.
5 in a row. I mean, come on. Poor Chris Doering, he makes a bet with Peter Burns on the SEC network.
They wouldn't allow it this year for some reason. The network wouldn't.
Okay. Well, I mean, they didn't. I guess they don't like the attention to it. But
aren't they owned by ESPN?
They are.
Yeah.
And ESPN bets is something that the network.
Yeah, but
promotes
ESPN
daily.
does a lot of silly stuff too.
Well, Dorian looks silly when he loses these bets because he has to dress up
like a chicken and all that.
Or a LSU baseball coach or something. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, that was great when he walked through the airport.
Atlanta airport. He's walking through the Atlanta airport as Paul Maneri. I mean, there he is. I mean,
all right, before we get to Edgar, I don't know if Edgar's on yet or not. Let's see. Yeah, Edgar's in, real quick. Jason, answer this quickly.
Yes.
Zach on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, says, do the Gators need to grab Lane before another big program does?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, they do, but that's just my opinion. I want Lane Kiffin to be the coach, but it's not going to happen, folks. Just I'm totally giving up on that story. I think he's at Ole Miss, or I think he's going somewhere else.
All right, that's JC. Join us on the Tight Number Hotline.
Peace
we'll
out.
recap
See you
everything
again.
on
Go
Monday.
Gators.
And we'll take a quick time out, come back, and the Gators play FSU tonight in basketball at 6:00, by the way, in Tallahassee, folks. We'll talk to Edgar Thompson here in just a second. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, Dave & Buster's, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. The Gridiron sponsors are Florida Cracker Kitchen, Comfort Temp, Peachland Dental, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Cogent Bank, UF Bookstores, Florida Victorious, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Electronics World, Miapa Latin Cafe, 84 Lumber, Baker Sporting Goods, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Signs, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Okido America, and Gator Bait Media. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever you're on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor and advertise, call our man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
After serving over 100 families over the past several years, we're super excited to kick off the holiday season. I'm Dylan, I'm Garrett, and we're Sunshine Holiday Lights. We all know how stressful it can be to decorate your home during the holidays. Our services include installation of all material, maintenance, takedown, and storage of the material throughout the year. If you want to spend more time with your family this year, give Sunshine Holiday Lights a call.
He's known for game-changing catches on the field, but now he's here with a life-saving catch.
That's right, Coach. Caught early, prostate cancer is highly treatable. You're a stats guy. Did you know 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their life?
I don't like those odds, Chris. So let's tell the guys out there what they need to do.
If you're 45 or older, or 40 if you're black, or have a family history of prostate cancer, talk with your doctor about the risks and benefits of screening with a PSA test.
And here's some great news. We've got a special PSA test screening coming up right here in Gainesville.
Join our partners at Man Cave Health, the Prostate Cancer Foundation, and UF Health Cancer Center at Gator Fan Fest for the tailgate and testing event. Get a quick blood test, score some Gator swag, and take charge of your health. Early detection is the key to making a great catch.
So let's go Gators and tackle prostate cancer together. Join us for the tailgate and testing. For more information, scan the QR code on your screen.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Miapa Latin Cafe. Discover the ultimate Cuban culinary experience at Miapa Latin Cafe with 5 locations in Gainesville and Alachua. You're never far from the best Cuban food north of Miami. When we head to the Titan MR Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp, we're joined by our good friend of the program, Edgar Thompson. Good morning, Edgar. How you doing, bud?
Doing fine. I tell you, the weather's starting to get really nice in Gainesville. I'll tell you, tomorrow, perfect day for football.
Real quick, Tony says, Shane, is that thing tomorrow a finger prick, or are they taking 2 gallons of blood? I still need to make it to the game. Speaking of that, tomorrow,
What is that?
whether outside where the Gator Fan Fest is, Man Cave Health and UF Health Cancer Center are doing free testing, prostate cancer testing for everybody. It's a finger prick deal. So I'm going to stop by there for a little bit. There'll be some other former players there, but Man Cave Health, they're the ones that sponsor the Steve Spurrier first year award that Dorian and them do, where they give it to So I would think it's going to be Kirk Cignetti would be my guess this
Oh,
year.
wow. That'll be cool. Mike Griffith, the AJC guy.
Yeah.
He runs it, and that'll be fun. Actually, I'd like to meet Kirk Cignetti.
Well, I'm assuming, I'm sure he's in the mix. It's whatever coach is at their school in their first year has
Who else would it? Who else would it be?
It's a good question. I mean, I would think he's a landslide winner.
I'm all about that guy. Get him down here.
Yeah, so it'd be cool. All right, Edgar.
I'm saying get him down here for more than one night.
Yeah, I gotcha. So DJ is cleared to play. I still don't know if he's not going to be 100%, but Elijah Badger will be back. So they're getting a few pieces back. Just your thoughts leading up to this LSU game.
I mean, it's great news. I was hearing early in the week, it was trending hard that way. They were pretty confident. They felt like he might even be able to play last week. So this was been reported as a grade 2 strain. That's usually, as you pointed out, a longer injury. So who knows? They do have modern medicine, man.
And different people heal different ways. I'm hoping, keeping my fingers crossed that, second or third series of the game, everything's going okay, regardless of the score. And he drops back and,
doesn't pull up lame.
Or they bring a couple guys through the A gap and he has to like burst real quick, to get outside the pocket. That's when it's scary, right? If he stays within the pocket and is not straining or making subtle bursts, I think he'll be okay. But that's where usually those hamstrings linger. So,
he's got, and they have a pass rush. They're 4th in the league, I think, 28 sacks or 4th. They got a guy, Brandon Swenson, with 8. Really good edge guy. And then Savion Jones, I think, I'm probably butchering his first name. I'm good at that. But he's got experience in 4.5 sacks. So LSU can rush off the edge. Their defense is very susceptible against the run, though.
Yeah.
And this team can run the football, Florida. So one thing they can do consistently. And I'll say running quarterbacks, though, have really burned this team. Look at the last 2 weeks. I mean, 7 rushing touchdowns. I mean, Milroe looked like a Heisman guy. I'll tell you, Shane, and I might be wrong, and I'm curious your opinion. Is Alabama the best team in the league, man, when Milroe's just rolling? I mean,
I think it's Ole Miss.
Okay. Well, I know you're biased. I mean, I think
this has nothing to do. This has nothing to do
with Alabama with Milroe, like he playing it full flight, is the toughest out, but maybe not.
I'm not biased because I'm an Ole Miss guy. I just think when you look at their offense and their defense, they're 2 plays away from being undefeated. But yeah, you're right.
Their defense swarmed the other day, man. It was impressive.
Yeah, and you got to remember they beat Ole Miss without their top receiver and their top running back. So they are very.
Beat who?
They beat Georgia without their top receiver.
You said they beat Ole Miss. That's why I said they beat who. Oh. You said they beat Ole Miss.
Oh, I meant Ole Miss beat Georgia without
I got you.
Top 2 skill guys. But you talked about the running quarterback. I don't, like I said, I guess they got to wait and see how DJ's feeling. We don't call a whole lot of run plays with him.
No, he's not running, man.
Right. But in my opinion, if he was 100% healthy with no injury, he's not the same type of runner as Milroe or Marcel Reed, because he's a smarter, savvy type runner. You know what I mean? He's got a little wiggle. Sure. He's probably not as fast as those guys, and he's smart. He gets down. But he is going to need to run the football a little bit at times, I think, just to keep them honest tomorrow. Defensively, anybody coming back that could help us slow anybody down?
Tell you, man, it's the walking wounded over there in the secondary. So Delvin Moore is out. We knew Jason Marshall's done for the year. Triquez Bridges is moving. He's been a cornerback in the past.
Yeah.
I was unaware. I knew he'd played some of it, but that was where he played mostly at Oregon. So he's got to get back to that position and get up to speed. Kermani McLean was rough the other day, man.
Yeah, he's not ready to play, and I don't know if he ever will be. And, of course, people loved it, the Kentucky game, but it was the third string quarterback that threw a hitch route 12 seconds late, and he made a good play. But the physicality, having to tackle is also an issue with him on the edge, right? So anyway, we got a question here from Joey on Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. He says, Edgar, is it a done deal that Napier will be our coach next year?
I don't think Scott Strickland's backtracking on this. Do you?
I don't know what to think. I mean, I guess I don't know if they've heard me on this show. It never said anything about
blown out
2025.
3 straight. If they get blown out 2 straight weeks and go and lose at Florida State, but I think he's just, it's a financial thing, and it's also a belief in the direction of the program and the youth. It's risky.
Yeah.
There are people that feel like you could be burning 2 recruiting classes potentially. But are there some good recruits coming in this weekend? Somebody was telling me yesterday that they actually are getting some traction maybe with some recruiting.
There's a lot because, as I mentioned, there's really only 2 places for people to go this week. Obviously, I'm sure Georgia and Tennessee, they're going to have a lot of athletes at that game. And then like the only kind of high profile game, even though we have a losing record, is here. There's just not a whole lot of games to go to for these kids. But you talked about, somebody said here about our young talent coming back. I guess I wanted to ask you and your thoughts, Edgar. Do you think all these young kids will be Florida Gators next year?
I don't know what these kids are going to get offered. There are going to be some people coming after some of them. You got to think. This is just the nature of the sport now. I mean, the transfer portal on NIL, movements is constant. But that's the bet. The bet is you're getting Billy Napier and you're getting this array of young guys back and something to build on. And offensive line, which has improved vastly, surprisingly. I think 9 of those guys are coming back. They're gonna have to make magic happen again in the portal at receiver, I think, a little bit. And elsewhere. I don't know that he's been as magical there, Billy and company. They've certainly been great at getting receivers out of the portal. They've hit on 3 very good ones at DK Pearsall and Badger. So I don't know, man. Look, there's so much to be determined. We're hearing staff changes, more of that coming. I'm hearing the strength program could be just completely upended. I mean, you just keep all this change. And it's once you get going down that road of trying to fit it all together and put the puzzle together, every off season, it's very challenging. And who do you convince? I just remember the Kurt Roper deal famously, right? You get a guy here, 3 years guaranteed. Kurt Roper was $600,000. I'm not finding anybody worth a dang for $600,000. I mean, a good position coach is that. No coordinators for that. And how are you going to convince whomever you target to, if this is where the direction you're headed, to come here for less than 2 years guaranteed? And, so the cost you're offsetting, if the financial component of this decision, you're offsetting, whatever, but you're going to add to it by these guaranteed deals. So, man, it's a puzzle, and it could be a messy one ultimately.
Yeah, like I said, if you were to make a change, I don't think it's any more money than it would be if you keep adding personnel. I think it's a wash, quite honestly. We can sit here and crunch the numbers. Greg from Fort Myers on the Titanamore text line says, Edgar, what about freshman cornerback Jameer Grimsley? Is he not ready to play?
I mean, you might know better than I. You can go into practice. I can't. So I don't even know what he's doing. And it is kind of, it's a little surprising. I've almost kind of forgotten about him. I had until a little while back. I'd kind of like, oh, why is this guy not playing? But yeah, he's not making any waves to get on the field. It's tough there, man. That game the other day in Texas, man. Now things get rolling the wrong way, momentum wise. And Billy had a quote the other day that was pretty telling, where he's like, "We had our parachutes on." And did you see this quote? He's like, "Yeah, I got to go find it." But he's like, "It wasn't very flattering." I mean, the fight of this team, I think, is been one of the selling points to Scott too, is the team's played hard. He goes, "It's a mindset thing. We had a parachute, went to battle with a parachute on our back, and then as soon as it didn't go our way, we pulled the parachute, and it was disappointing."
Oh,
So they
wow.
basically just launched, man, in his opinion. And I think that's been the theme of this week is they better put up some fight. And it'll be easier to do at the Swamp. You go to Texas, you got a third string quarterback with very little experience. Things get going the wrong way. You miss a field goal, 30-yard field goal. I mean, Trey Smack, how do you miss that? And just no momentum in any facet. And they're just whiffing on tackles. 5 of those touchdowns of the 7, I think the guys were untouched.
Yeah. Brian's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. He says, "Hey, Edgar, I appreciate your podcast. Always give objective and informed takes. Question,
Thank you.
and I'll answer this after you." He says, "What is the deal with Napier standing a long way from the team when he calls plays? Why stand at such a distance?"
I really appreciate the compliment, but the question, I'm kidding.
I will answer it.
People ask this, and I don't have an answer.
I will answer it.
Yeah, tell me, because a lot of people think he's detached. But
No, because you can see better. You know, I did it when I call plays. Or, if you're in the box, you don't have to do it. Because if you're standing along the line of scrimmage, you can't see the entire defense. Like he stands, does he stand behind like from the defense looking? Yeah, he does. He goes down, like if we're driving to the north end zone, he's down towards the north end zone looking. I like to do it the other way. I like to stand way behind the offense so I can get a picture of the defense better that way, how the quarterback's looking. But people ask me that all the time too, Edgar. It has nothing to, I mean, he's got a headset on. Everybody's talking through the headset in the first place, right? It doesn't matter if he was sitting in row 22, right? He's still talking to his team and his staff. But yes,
it's a fair question, but
yeah.
Is it unique? I just haven't watched that enough. It seems coaches are more in the center of the action.
Some of them are. Some of them stand away so they can see, and there's not a lot of commotion. Like I said, I prefer how he does it because you get a better visual of what's going on.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've missed a lot of your pods this week. There's so much crazy stuff going on, man. It's like relentless. Especially with this Todd Golden situation and whatnot. But what do you hope to see tomorrow from the Gators? This LSU Go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to answer that question.
Please.
You got to win the game. You got to win the game. Edgar, we've beaten nobody with a winning record.
This is the game they need to win. I agree.
When's the last time we beat a team with a winning record? Was that last year at home against Tennessee?
Someone told me a statistic. It might only be like 3 teams with winning records. They're 2-14 against ranked teams. And that's 1-14 really since the Utah win, the upset to open the Napier era. So they beat Tennessee. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. I'm in the minority because everybody talks about how our defense has gotten better and all that. And they did get a little bit better. I'm not taking anything away from it, but I still don't think we're very good on that side of the ball this year. And we've not been very good on offense. It's just I think we've been very good on special teams, quite honestly.
Jeremy Crawshaw is like an absolute stud. He's fun to watch as a punter.
I think Chim DK has been phenomenal as a punt returner, making great decisions. He's also been great as the gunner on punt team. But look, this is about the young talent. They're getting better. We're playing hard. That blows my mind that people think that way. You have to win the freaking game. So it's a results-driven business, right?
Yeah, but Shane wasn't. So this is the thing, man. The moving targets get frustrating as a media member. I'm all about consistency. I try to be consistent. Look, I joke I'm a piece of driftwood and I kind of get pulled here and I'm not out on Billy. Oh, I'm starting to believe in Billy, right? Whatever. That's just life in general for me. I'm very easily influenced. But wasn't the theme coming in the season all the experience?
Yeah.
Now it's the youth again.
Yeah, we had a million snaps. I can't even remember what it was. Some of the most competitive
4,000 and
snaps.
some. It was tons.
Yeah.
But oh no, no, 1/4. That's like 30, 40 some thousand. Whatever it was, that was the thing. And now we're back to the youth. So I get it. You need to promote, sell, hope, and do all that, but you got to stay consistent with the message a little bit too. It is a moving target, obviously. Things do change in fairness. But back to what you said about the defense, it did seem it was playing better, but I never thought the pass rush was doing much.
Mm-hmm.
And this team has given up 6 sacks all year. Will Campbell is like a top 10 pick, 1 tackle. The other guy, Emory Jones, is like all SEC. So they're going to have a hard time pressuring Nussmeier. This Kyron Lacey guy is the next in line of studs.
Yeah,
LSU produces, they're like wide receiver you. Forget DBU. They produce receivers.
Mm-hmm.
This Mason Taylor, JT's kid, he's a good tight end, man. And I don't know how they do covering tight ends. And Caden Durham, this freshman running back, this guy's like a 10-200 guy. He's averaging 11 a catch and like 6 a carry. That you lose sight of him because you're paying attention to all this perimeter stuff. This guy's going to torch you. This is a good offense potentially. They're going, or not potentially. It's a good offense. It's not the best offense. Ole Miss is going to be even better, I think, on offense. So they're gonna have to score some points these next 2 weeks, and that's why getting DJ back. They hadn't thrown a touchdown pass since he went down, not one in 6 quarters.
Well, we didn't throw many towards the end zone either. Nature Gator says, by the way, Shane, Kiffin doesn't call the plays at Ole Miss anymore. Charlie Weiss Jr. does. You keep saying Kiffin calls the plays. He does. He does. Trust me. I have sources. Just because Charlie Weiss Jr. is considered the offensive coordinator, and he may call a few plays here and there, it is Lane's offense, and Lane is in charge. I promise you that. Promise you.
Okay.
I will put a lot of
he's one of the few who can do it.
Yeah.
Billy Napier, on the other hand.
Sarkisian's the same way. So,
well, he hung 49 on the Gators. And so, yeah, man, they're going to have to score points tomorrow, man. I think they're going to run the football. They're running it very well. I know they missed Montrell Johnson. He's a great kid. He's a hard runner. He was having his best game of the year at Tennessee. But Ball missed a step with Ball and Jackson. And those guys,
they're really good running backs.
Very good.
I said all summer long leading up to this, or whenever ETN left, I said running back will not be the issue.
Yeah, ETN has not been the guy I thought he was going to be at Georgia, but they've had offensive line issues, in fairness.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, Edgar, let everybody know now that you're back on Twitter how they can follow you and read all the good stuff.
OS Gators is back in action after a 3-month, God knows what was going on. Now that Elon's running the country, now I'm back on Twitter. So,
real quick, Zach says, will Lane show out next week in the swamp? I think he will light us up for fun. We'll see. We got to worry about LSU. To me, this might be one of the most important games we've had around here in a long time. We just got to win, Edgar. It's none of this. How did we play? We're better with DJ back. We gave great effort, but we need to play well as a team and try to win a football game against a really good football team. They're 6-3. They could easily still win 8 or 9 games this year.
Well, this team could win, if they could win 10 games. You realize Brian Kelly's won 10 games or more 7 straight years?
Well, they can with their bowl game you're referring to.
What I'm saying, they can win these last 3. They got Vanderbilt, and then they have like someone not very good at the end of the season.
Probably Arkansas, right? Have they not played Arkansas?
Oh, maybe it's Arkansas.
Or the boot or
Arkansas,
whatever.
I mean, two solid teams, but I think they're better talent-wise. And then a bowl game. So this team's still planning to win 10 games. Florida needs to win this game. Making a bowl game would be a step forward. It would give a lot of these young guys those extra practices. I don't know that they'll get 15 because I have a feeling the bowl will be like December 20th, or so. It'll be a lower bowl, but nonetheless, it would show some tangible progress, because tangible progress is what they need to show, and not being told they're progressing. Just give us time, right?
Edgar, see you in the press box, my friend.
Thanks, man.
That's
Appreciate
Edgar
it.
Thompson for the Orlando Sentinel. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow hotline for